Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to bring a message for the chosen. If you find that this resonates with you in any way, please be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and let us know how it resonates with your circumstance. So, chosen, I want to talk to you all about my experience of living out and experiencing hell and heaven in the same lifetime. Now, if you look at the photo that I have here, one picture is of me recently, currently. This is my current energy within the past few days. I've taken that first photo that you see with the beige scarf. And the other photo was taken back in 2018, maybe 2019. My experience has been quite unique, as every chosen seed's experience has been. When I say that I've been able to experience hell and heaven, my hell here in this lifetime was one of the lowest points. It was my lowest point. It was that time where either it's going to make you or break you. And I was taken through some very, very, very trying times. During that time, there was heavy, heavy spell work that was being sent towards me, sent towards my family, sent towards even my marriage at the time. And so there was constant turmoil, constant pain. And at that time, my way of coping, this was prior to awakening. My way of coping at that time was, I used to smoke a lot of weed, right? And it brought in a false sense of, okay, I can feel halfway decent right now, but it really didn't cure anything, right? But at that time, I had a lot of energies that was working up against me because there were people who understood who I was. And I was completely oblivious to my assignment and who I was sent here to eventually become and the assignment that I would eventually take on. So at this time, having many children within my marriage, it was very overwhelming. It was highly stressful. My oldest daughter became ill and was diagnosed with brain cancer. This was literally right after I had awakened. So that was at 33, so about 6 years ago. And so many changes were happening. When I tell you it took a toll on me, I mean, I looked in the mirror and I did not recognize myself. I did not recognize myself. I was, I had lost a ton of weight. I had gotten down as low as 120 pounds. I had no idea, no clue that I had gotten that small. I just knew my clothes didn't fit properly, but stress will take a toll on you in ways that you could never imagine. I witnessed hell at that point in my life because from the outside looking in, many would say like, wow, I mean, how are you still here? How are you still coping? How are you not, getting drunk and just completely submerged in grief? How? And looking back, all I can say is that it was the Most High Mother and Father and my spiritual team that was completely guiding me and keeping me at the darkest hour of my life. And when I tell you, I had so much spell work coming towards me, glamour spells, relationship spells, energies that was being sent towards my children. Even when it came to my feeling inspired to keep up with my home and to be a nurturing mother to my children, like I was not there. And it wasn't until I was awakened at 33, even though things were still crazy, y'all. Don't get it twisted. Things were still crazy, and I still had a whole lot more to deal with in my hell, right? I still had to remain in that position because there was lessons that I needed to learn in that very, very, very dark space, right? So shadow work would ultimately be done in that very dark space of my life. But what saved me was my awakening at 33, because when I was given the knowledge that my mind played a major factor in my external reality, that's all I needed to hear. From that point on, I made it my mission that I would change the way that I thought. No matter what was going on, I would change the way that I viewed my circumstances, and that I would find gratitude in the smallest of things. I would find the sweet spot in the midst of the storm. I made it my business. And that is what spared me. Changing my thoughts is what spared me. You can look at my photos back then. This photo here, and that's my precious little baby. That's my youngest. But this photo here, I was at a low. When I tell you I was at a low point in my life, you can see it. It's all over my face. I was drained. It was like the energy was being siphoned from me. And I had no idea of the power that I possessed to reclaim my energy. I had no idea of the power that I possessed to heal myself. But I did have some knowledge about my thoughts creating things, because as you can see, this was my very first crystal necklace that I had on here. That's when I started to gain some clarity about how to transmute energy, working with crystals, but I still was not fully tapped in. And so I was going through a major metamorphosis, a major transformation. And when I tell you, I went from looking like, someone out of a magazine, right? To looking like I was trampled over by a ton of magazines. I can attest to the fact that I am 100% certain that spell work and dark magic and people setting the evil eye is very much so real. But I had to first go through the storm of overcoming the hardships of, you know, being there at the bedside with my daughter as she was fighting for her life, and still raising multiple babies, okay, while being pregnant with my last one. So 6 children, and all of this was happening while they were still arm babies. Like, I remember things was so hectic. I had a stroller. It was a triplet stroller. So I had 4 in the stroller. One was walking and another was in my belly. It was, when I tell you life was lifing, I went through a true dark night of the soul. But the Most High Mother and Father is so gracious, because I was shown that you don't look for the light when you're in the darkest place of your life. You don't look for the light. You become the light. And so when it was revealed to me that my thoughts would change my life, I was very intentional. I started writing things down, manifesting, getting out into nature. And in spite of what was going on with my daughter's health, I mean, when I tell you that she was bouncing back from those chemicals, because I didn't want my child to have any chemicals. I wanted her to have a natural, a holistic practitioner to help her to heal. But I was threatened by Child Protective Services and the hospital. Like, it was crazy. I was going through court at the time. I went through court with those people for at least a year while my daughter was in, eventually she had to take the chemo. But during that time, when I tell you the Most High was showing me things about energy, I was that mother that was in her room playing frequencies. She was surrounded by tons of crystals. When she ended up getting this tube that you see here in this picture in her nose, I was giving her all types of natural supplements that would clean her system out and give her a total reset. Like, I started to learn so much. And mind you, this was during a time that I was actually working as a registered nurse. Okay. And I could barely work at that time because things were so hard and I needed to be at the hospital with my child. And so eventually I ended up losing my truck. That got repossessed. And what's funny about it, I can laugh about it now. But at that time, I was not playing any games when it came to transmuting energy and checking myself when it came to my thoughts. So much so that when they came and took my truck, I did not get upset about it. I said, okay, everything is happening for a reason. And when I tell y'all, like, it was one thing after another, back to back to back to back. When these types of things happen in your life and you have hard hits back to back to back to back, it's because your spiritual team is like, look, you don't have time to drag your feet when it comes to your awakening. And looking back now, I realize why I had to go through so much, because they had to show me about energy. They had to show me what type of curses was over my lineage. They had to reveal to me the deep suppressed wounds that I had internally. They had to show me the true nature of the people that I had in my immediate circle. They had to show me the true nature of friends, lovers. I mean, everything was being revealed during the darkest period of my life, and I had to address it. I had to face it head on. I could not ignore it, because it was one of those times where I had to get sat down. And when COVID happened, 2020, I was already in a whole nother state. And after staying with family for a couple of months and them telling me and my children, hey, y'all got to go, and ending up in a hotel room, that's when I had to sit with myself, because I wasn't working. It was just me and my babies. And the Most High was just making ways. Like, it was so many things that was coming through, just manifesting. Like, the Most High would open up doors for money to come through, and for, food stamps, things like that. And then COVID, with the checks that began to come through for, each child that you had. So that made a huge difference, because with me having 6 children, 5 of which were with me at the time when I moved out east, it definitely made a huge difference in terms of helping me to be able to overcome that very, very dark period in my life. But what was interesting about that is, like I was telling you before, you don't search for the light outside of yourself. You become the light, and that's what illuminates the darkness, right? And suddenly you see everything. You become enlightened because you are internally, the light that is within you begins to shine. And so I thought my way through my circumstances. I manifested my way up out of my circumstances. I did a lot of burning and releasing. I'm still burning and releasing till this day. I did a lot of manifesting the internal version, who I wanted to become, not who I was told I was, or the person that society told me I was. I purged a lot of people out of my life. I purged a lot of belief systems out of my life. I left an entire career. Okay. I haven't used my nurse's license for, it's been almost 5 years now. But see, the Most High knew, I'm telling you, Mother and Father knew exactly what they were doing when they took me through that chaotic moment. And so I tell you all, and I've skipped so much, y'all. When I tell you it's so much more, I've skipped so much, but I just wanted y'all to see, just looking at even my photos, take a look at how the transformation, when you go through that metamorphosis, I'm telling you, it's a heavy, heavy energy, but you will overcome it. You will overcome those circumstances, and you will come out on the other side of that thing a different version, like the most authentic and organic version of yourself. But you will not look the same. You will not feel the same. You will not think the same. You will not move the same. You will not respond the same. I'm telling you, everything about you is going to be different, to the point where all of those individuals that tried to knock you down, that tried to send spell work your way, that did, wicked rituals against you, that sent the evil eye because they didn't want to see you thriving. They didn't want to see you rise into your divinity. They didn't want to see you shining. They didn't want to see you in healthy relationships. They didn't want to see you to have a healthy family dynamic. They wanted you down and out, grieving on your hands and knees. That's where they wanted you. But the Most High said, you will not take this one down because you have a divine assignment out there, chosen. And so even though the Most High Mother and Father will allow for certain things to happen in your life, it's only because it is sharpening you. It is preparing you. Okay, it is molding you so that by the time you come out on the other side of that thing, your enemies will be on their faces, grieving, begging for mercy, because they had no idea that in spite of all of the havoc that they tried to reap in your life and all of the negative energy that they tried to send your way, the Most High Mother and Father said, I'm going to show your enemies that they never had any power. Their evil eye and spell work never had any power, even though they thought they were winning. Because they looked at you and they laughed at you. They talked about you. They said that you looked worse than ever. Life was looking worse than ever. They said you was taking losses that you would never be able to bounce back from. They said your family was in chaos. They said that your love life was in chaos. These are all of the things that they hope for you. But the Most High is going to do such an amazing transformation in your life that your enemies will wish that they never took the bait to work up against you. They will wish that they never took the bait to work up against you, because now everything that they sent towards you becomes their lifelong punishment. It becomes their lifelong judgment. And the difference between you and them is that you become the light in the midst of the darkness, while they sit in darkness groping for light. And you know what light they're going to look for in that darkness? You, chosen. They'll be groping in the darkness looking for you, because you are the light. You are the chosen amongst your family. You are the chosen amongst those so-called associates and co-workers. And when they are going through those things that they thought that you was going to never be able to bounce back from, they will be looking for you in hopes that somehow they can rectify their wrongdoing with you, because they need guidance. They need light. Why? Because they don't possess the spark that you possess. Their light is so dim that it doesn't illuminate anything. It doesn't show them anything. They can't gain clarity about what's going on. They can't gain clarity about how to get to the next level in life. They're just groping in darkness. And now their life becomes the hell that they tried to put you in. The Most High Mother and Father is the greatest. They know all things. Everything is lined up for a specific reason. And when you overcome that season of hell in your life, just know that when you touch heaven, when you begin to taste heaven, that is going to be your reality. That is you transitioning from the 3D to the 5D existence. Everything around you will begin to look different. You will look different. You will no longer look the same. Everything changes. Health begins to improve. Love life improves. Finances improve. Everything that was taken from you will be restored to you 1,000-fold, 10,000-fold, 100,000-fold, because you've earned it. You've earned it. And so your enemies will sit back and watch you as you are risen up, because the Most High is going to make sure that you are rewarded with so much of an overflow that they can't miss it. That part is going to hurt them far more than the karma that they will experience in their own personal lives. Just the fact that you get to receive what is inherently yours, those things that they fought so hard to keep you from getting, that is going to hurt more than anything. But just know, I don't care what season you are in, keep your thoughts in alignment with what you desire, and you can guarantee, it is universal law. You can guarantee that you will come out of your circumstances a far better version than you were when you went into them, and that you will have an overflow. The Most High, Mother and Father, and your spiritual team will reward you greatly. That's my message for you all. I hope that this brought you some clarity and helped to enlighten and guide some of you that might be going through the dark night of the soul. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know how this resonates with your circumstance, and I'll talk to y'all next time.